Now, within a few hours from now, Nawaz Sharif will be speaking at the United Nations General Assembly. Many Indians would want him to move beyond the predictable and boring and rather unproductive script that he has read out on Kashmir for the longest possible time that he and Pakistan have. But not everyone's sure that Pakistan will be more positive in its approach, also more pragmatic. Now, I'd like to say to Air Marshal Abid Rao and Syed Tariq Pirzada at the start, while I also welcome KC Singh, former Secretary MEA, Nalin Kohli, National Spokesperson of the BJP, and Maruf Raza, a strategic affairs expert, who along with me will be leading our coverage from New York and Washington, D.C. over the next few days. Air Marshal Rao and Syed Tariq Pirzada, we know what you will do. Nawaz Sharif will rake up the Kashmir issue. He will once again try to do something that at least on 1,000 occasions in the past, Pakistan has failed to do at the UN General Assembly, which is try and internationalize the issue. There are more pressing issues, but you have clearly failed to resolve those pressing issues. You owe us an explanation on several of those pressing issues when you address the United Nations. Now, Pakistan, as far as Kashmir is concerned, Air Marshal Rao, on Pakistan's part, it has been raised ad nauseum, debated ad nauseum by you, and it has only ended up with you being on the losing side. Why would you want to repeat your old follies once again? I mean, would you expect Nawaz Sharif to at least come up with a fresh approach tomorrow? Air Marshal Rao, let's begin the debate with you.
Okay. First of all, you've said that you know what Mr. Nawaz Sharif will say, and we know what is your reaction to that. We have been talking about Kashmir issue at international level, then at bilateral level, and now you don't want to even talk about it at bilateral level. Recently, I read this book by Mr. Jaswant Singh on India at Risk. I would suggest, Arnab, you also read that and educate the Indian public on the history of this Kashmir issue. The problem is that people on in Indian side and even on Pakistani side are now forgetting the basic reason or the history of this issue. They are only logged on to the two-tongue part in India, and Pakistan talks about it as a Kashmir dispute or a land for which we have fought 3 wars, and the future war cannot be counted off.
Nobody listens to you anymore.
A nuclear flashpoint.
Sir, one second. Sir, nobody listens to you, and I'd like to quickly get the interventions in. Nobody listens to you. The fact of the matter is,
one day somebody will listen.
Sir, let me complete because I want to open up the debate. I want to open the debate. Let's hear from the Indian side also. If you're going to begin so aggressively and on a predictable line, I think you should hear the Indian point of view as well, because nobody takes you seriously. At the United Nations, the UN Security Council has not even pursued this issue since 1962. Half a century has passed. The UN Security Council has not even pursued this issue. You seem to be playing this whole Kashmir music only for your own ears. I'd like to get into the debate at this stage. KC Singh, Maruf Raza and Nalin Kohli, any one of them who want to take on Air Marshal Abid Rao. Who'd like to go first? KC Singh wants to go first. Hear the other side, so hear the Indian side. Hear the Indian side, KC Singh, to Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, please.
Arnab, 2 years as Additional Secretary International Organizations, 2006, 2007, I spent long periods in New York during the high-level segment. Really, Kashmir issue, whenever it is raised by Pakistan, all the delegates turn to each other and say, why is this? It is of no interest to anyone.
Exactly.
There are other pressing matters every year. This year, the focus, the UN Secretary General has brought the focus to climate change. In fact, in the last few days, thousands of people have marched through the streets of New York focusing on climate change. So there are many other pressing issues. You got Ukraine, you got South China Sea, East China Sea, many flashpoints, and you have got ISIS and what is happening in Syria and Iraq. So compared to that, if a country keeps bringing Kashmir there, everyone turns around and say, why don't you, two of you, sit down and talk about it?
Exactly. And yet they do that. Yet they do that repeatedly. You see, Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, I'm sorry, simply put, you would be boring the international community, and also Syed Tariq Pirzada, as the world's most prominent patron of state-sponsored terrorism, which you call this whole business of asymmetrical warfare, you are hardly in any moral position to do that. Now, if the real problem is, Syed Tariq Pirzada, that Nawaz Sharif will not have the face to come back to Pakistan, if he wants to blow the domestic bugle somewhere, why would you blow the domestic bugle in a place where you will be laughed at? You will be laughed at if you do it once again at the United Nations. You know, it is not going to work. Tell me one instance since 1962 when the Kashmir question has been picked up by the UN Security Council. Give me one. Give me one and we'll go. And even in 1962, you could not pass the resolution because there was a strong veto against it which discouraged the UN Security Council from picking up the issue thereafter. You realize
that? Me to answer, Arnab.
Yeah. Yes, Syed Tariq Pirzada, if you have a factual point, please. I mean, because generally I think it is in your interest to give up now on Kashmir. Yeah.
No. It is in the interest of Pakistan to awaken the world's conscience that, like any other issue, the issue of Kashmir that is testified to and has been testified to by the UN resolutions of 48, 49, that issue remains unresolved, then it is a stigma on the face of the United Nations determination that it has not stepped forward to resolve this issue, which is a part of the unfinished agenda of the
creation of India. Sir, you again got it wrong on the UN resolutions, sir. You know, you got it wrong on the UN resolutions. The UN resolutions on Kashmir do not fall in the category of what is called Chapter 7. And hence you cannot implement it because you need both sides to come together for that implementation. Even in this particular case, I don't think even Kofi Annan has made it clear that you cannot enforce it.
Let me answer that part.
So the issue is this. There is much to concede. Nawaz Sharif should not be picking up. Nawaz Sharif should not be picking up the Kashmir script tomorrow. It will be self-defeating.
Nawaz Sharif, I know your problem is that you think Nawaz Sharif is the Prime Minister of India and therefore he should not be picking up the issue of Kashmir. But he is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. His name is not Narendra Modi.
Sir,
remember that.
Sir, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. This is an Indian TV channel, and I can tell you, even the Pakistani TV channels aren't as ignorant as you would like anyone to believe that they are. Nalin Kohli is smiling tonight. It appears the Pakistani guests have lost the debate on this one, even before Nawaz Sharif opens his mouth at the UN. GA tomorrow. Nalin Kohli, why are you so amused at what Air Marshal Rao and especially Syed Tariq Pirzada are putting out?
I'm amused because this is among the funniest statements I've heard in a long time. Really, it's a very funny statement that anyone would confuse Mr. Narendra Modi with Mr. Nawaz Sharif or vice versa. Anyway, I think, let's get down to some serious talk. The fact of the matter is, if at all, Pakistan and India, when they became two countries, they had a lot of unfinished agenda, be it development, be it about reaching out and eradicating poverty, many things to do. And the only unfinished agenda that is left in Pakistan is because see where they have traversed. Over six, let me finish, sir. I didn't. I'm coming to that. The fundamental agenda, what you couldn't achieve is give a good government to your people. You are unable to solve the problems of Pakistan.
You need to focus domestically.
You have tried to bring it all down to one issue
and internationally.
I'll interrupt you.
Syed Tariq Pirzada, I request you, let the BJP spokesperson complete his point.
I can debate,
let the BJP spokesperson complete his point.
But I'm not going to allow a debate to happen in this way, which only confirms you have no point to make. You have no point to make, and that's why you are interrupting me.
The point to make is Kashmir remains the most vital, unresolved issue.
You have a problem in Pakistan within. So all they say is that everything for it is, this is the magic wand that they like to use for their people of Pakistan to say all problems are linked to this. It's like a panacea, one single tablet you ate from your head to your toe, every extension of the body, no disease will be left because you have the magic pill. Basically, it's a chimera. They have no issue on it. And if you even look at the statement of young Bilawal Bhutto, I mean, he says, I will take back Kashmir. How do you take back something that you have never had? So it just tells you that if you are living...
Mr. Pirzada, let the BJP spokesperson complete his point. I request you. I request you. Yeah, please.
The bottom line is that when you said that that today the UN is also speaking of climate change. What you need to realize is that there is a climate change in the political environment of India. And that's it. It means business. But it's not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be let's sit down and have a cup of tea as always. Because after all, the time has come to either talk seriously or not at all. So if this kind of charade goes on, it serves no purpose in the bilateral relations. It may have some kind of consequential thing from the Pakistani perspective of addressing their own audience.
And the resolution of the issue of Kashmir.
At this stage of the debate, however, no, at this stage of the debate, I am inviting our guests from Pakistan.
Promising economy.
Nalin Kohli.
Slumbering people.
Nalin Kohli. I think tonight,
so this is not slumber. Wake up.
The importance of this debate must be borne out by facts and not empty rhetoric. So at this stage, I would like to throw a challenge with respect to the two interlocutors from Pakistan on this debate. Let's argue fact. You know, you can go on and on like that, say Tariq Pirzada, the problem is Kashmir, the unfinished issue is the issue of Kashmir. When I draw you into a factual debate, you retreat because you have no facts on the table. When I draw you into a factual debate, then Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, even you stutter because you know you don't have the conviction with which you can say that
no, when I hear three people talking, I have to keep quiet because nobody will listen to me.
Sure. So let's
read the history. Kashmir was an independent state. It didn't belong to the British territory since 1846 when it was sold to Gulab Singh for 75 lakhs.
So this is 2014,
After that,
correct.
This is 2014.
This is 2014.
This is 2014.
So when you say Mr. Bilawal Bhutto said we will take Kashmir because India took that part of Kashmir which did not belong to India. Because Raja Hari Singh took 3 months to decide, and
so you feel tomorrow. You feel tomorrow.
Before that,
KC Singh. No,
Arnab, before 1840, it was with Maharaja Ranjit Singh. It was
exactly.
with the
so when it was not part of the British Empire, so India and Pakistan both had equal rights. So India usurped that.
It was part of the Sikh
Why did the
Gentlemen, one second. Gentlemen, can I bring one thing to your attention, Air Vice Marshal Rao? 1 minute. Can I please, Mr. Pirzada? You see, this is 2014.
I can't hear anybody.
This is 2014, and when on the 26th of September. When on the 26th of September 2014 Nawaz Sharif goes, Mr. Pirzada, when on the 26th of September 2014 Nawaz Sharif goes before the United Nations General Assembly, he knows 3 things, Maruf. First, he knows that the Americans don't care for any amount of cribbing and crying, and he knows that he's the same person who entered Blair House.
Why are you worried about it then?
Who entered Blair House in 1999 to be told by Bill Clinton, don't try and precipitate a situation with India, stop being aggressors, and Pakistan learned the lesson. They were diplomatically, they lost, militarily they lost during Kargil. The second point he knows is that the UN...
that was one occasion.
Let me express my view. Second thing he knows is that the UN has no time for the Kashmir issue and for Pakistan anymore. Third, he knows, Maruf,
we will wait.
He carries the burden of a nation that is today seen to be untrustworthy, to be, a strategic wreck, to be a country that clambers up each and every time to get American attention, American aid, and create a situation which, as Bruce Rydell says, is the threat of an Armageddon. Talk about a nuclear conflict at every time in order to get a few morsels and dimes from the Americans. So, Maruf, who's going to listen to Nawaz Sharif if he picks up this script tomorrow? Who's going to listen to him if he does that tomorrow, if he makes that strategic blunder? Will he do that, or will he get real? Maruf?
You should be very happy if nobody listens to him.
So nobody is listening to him. So the proof is nobody has listened.
Then why are you worried about it?
Because
why are you worried about it?
Because
don't take the burden of all Pakistani problems on your shoulder.
If you lie, you're not going to go unchallenged. That's the only point I'm making. If you lie at the United Nations General Assembly,
it is the same
you're not
American
going to go
government
unchallenged.
which declared Kashmir as the nuclear flashpoint. That was not out of context. I mean, how do you avoid the future war
if you are going to indulge in global nuclear blackmail,
this state of denial,
if you, I'm sorry,
there is no problem.
I'm sorry, M. Marshal Rao, if you are going to indulge in global nuclear blackmail, everyone in the civilized world will stand up to you.
We will use every possible effort and way to settle this issue. It has passed us 3 boards.
Maruf, therefore
it still remains to be a flashpoint.
Casey, I see your hand go up there, but I'm saying here tonight, stop indulging in global nuclear blackmail.
Can I please come in?
Yeah, Maruf.
Please come in.
I mean,
Maruf,
morally you are correct. He will not be blackmailed.
Marshal Rao. Arnab,
Maruf.
Yeah, let me speak. Marshal Rao, sir, I have great respect for you.
Please.
And I understand where you are coming from. You and Mr. Pirzada are obviously very strongly conversant with the Pakistani sentiment and Pakistan's viewpoint. Some of us are also. You talk about history. Many books have been written on the Kashmir issue. We have both read those. I've even authored a book on Kashmir, so I've also got some facts. Point I'm making is, Arnab, that I am not going to be surprised if Mr. Nawaz Sharif is going to take the Kashmir line, because please understand his current political circumstances within Pakistan.
Right.
He almost lost his job because he was seen to be going soft on India. That is one. The second is, if you go by recent analysis that have come out by academics like Christine Fair and others, which talk of the philosophy of the Pakistan army fighting to the finish, Kashmir is an issue they cannot abandon. Because for one reason is that the army strongly rallies behind it, the people strongly rally behind it. So we will have to live with this fact that this will keep coming up on the Pakistani discourse. We have to come up with another counterpoint to them to give them an understanding that conflict over Kashmir is not the way forward. There are other items on the agenda that can be addressed. Musharraf came up with some ideas, some others have come up with ideas. The central point is that I don't see in my lifetime Pakistan or the Pakistan army abandoning the Kashmir issue, because if they do, that will be a sign of defeat. Not defeat at Kargil, not defeat in 71. They can live with that. But they cannot abandon that issue because they have nothing else to get their nation to rally together as one entity.
But it's an insincere effort, Maruf.
Together. And
Maruf, it's an insincere effort.
Is a symbol of that.
Maruf, it's an insincere effort.
We understand that.
Maruf, it's a
once
dishonest.
we understand that, we have to learn to live with it. You have rightly brought out that Mr. Clinton and successive governments in America have told the Pakistanis that move beyond. The problem for Pakistan is that they are hung up on the UN resolution without having read the resolution. If we all read it on the internet of 13th August 48, both parties have to move forward.
I have read.
Let him finish. I'll come to you, sir. Let him finish. Let Maruf complete his point.
Sir, aap pad lijiye. It's there on the internet. Ask all your viewers to read it. You have to fulfill
I can repeat what is there in that.
Only then we can fulfill part 3. Even if we go back, I am supportive of your view that Shimla...
It had 3 parts, only the first part is implemented.
By the UN resolution, you have to move forward.
In Pakistan.
Sir,
yes, sir, I agree. But you have to move forward on part 2. Unless you move forward on part 2, part 3 can't happen, which is plebiscite. You want a plebiscite. Even if we go back to that, I know there are many diplomats and politicians in India who will argue that Shimla
plebiscite can be held without having part 2.
I agree with you that it's not got you anywhere.
We can have in present setup also
I'd like to at this stage, I'd like to add another dimension to the debate.
No, sir.
Maruf.
No. If you go by UN resolution, you have to implement it entirely. You can't have it your way. So please understand, you have to move forward on vacating Kashmir, then we can do the plebiscite. That is the central thumb rule of the UN resolution.
Let me answer
we all
that.
talk about
okay, Syed Tariq Pirzada, please. Mr. Pirzada, go ahead. Maruf, let Mr. Pirzada respond. Go ahead.
I need to have your guest quiet for a moment so I can talk. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
All right, here is the answer. If you read the resolutions on Kashmir, they provide a complete mechanism that both Pakistan and India will have to withdraw their forces, and the UN commission appointed by United Nations will hold the plebiscite like exactly the way The plebiscite was held, you know where? Just recently in Scotland by the British, your ex-masters. Follow their example, be a civilized country before we all go to a war. It's a very clear situation. The people of Pakistan are very clear. Pakistan
what's a
is not
KC
a
Singh?
country of
As far as I
71.
know,
It's not a country
as far as I know, sir. As far as I know, 1 minute. I think KC Singh will respond. 1 minute. No, 1 minute. Maruf, just I want KC to respond to this.
The resolution.
Sir, 1 minute.
Resolution
Mr.
says-
Pirzada,
Just a
a minute,
minute.
please.
Just a minute.
Don't play
Just
to
a
the gallery,
minute.
Mr. Pirzada. Just a minute,
Please
please.
listen.
KC Singh wants to say something to you. Listen to him. Yeah.